Good afternoon. Hello, it's Juanita and Joel from Howling Bells. Thanks for coming in to us at 2FM.
Pleasure.
You guys look ridiculously fresh in comparison to everybody else that we've seen so far at the
Yeah,
festival.
so we've heard.
I just had a bath.
It'll be a slow, gradual descent, though. Wait till you see us around maybe 10 p.m. It'll be a very different circumstance.
I mean, you're on at a pretty decent time. What is it? It's 4 o'clock, which is
yeah.
great because everybody's had their lunch, they've seen a couple of bands, and then they suddenly
Right.
pick up energy and they're raring to go.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like the festivals in comparison to all the venue gigs?
Some of them, some of them are more artist friendly than others, whether they're aware of it or not. We tend to enjoy playing indoors a lot more than outdoors because I think it kind of complements the atmosphere of the band a lot more.
Well, darkness is nice, isn't it? Especially when you've got the kind of fuzzy, dark distortion and all that sort of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Create illusions as well, can't
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, how long have you guys? I know that you went over to the UK to do your debut album. Did you just decide this is great, this is where it's happening, we'll stay here? Like, why would Australians pick our climate?
It's kind of no different from actors moving to LA or, I don't know, a chef wanting to move to Paris or something. It's just you head straight to the source, and that's, as musicians, what we felt kind of obliged and compelled to do, which was move to the source of where our inspiration lay musically, which for as long as we can remember was always England, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
God, it's mad. You wouldn't think that, because I mean, there's a pretty vibrant scene in Australia, and we always sort of think about Australian radio being really receptive to alternative bands, and
Yeah.
Was it-
But it's the history as well. I mean, all our folks are musicians, so we grew up with the likes of all the 50s and 60s British bands. So it's heritage as well that we're really interested in.
And how did you find kind of going into the very style-motivated music scene that is the UK? It's famous for being sometimes style over
Right.
substance, and there's a lot of bands that sort of get covers of magazines with virtually no record sales. You know, they
Yeah.
sort of pick their favorites, certainly Enemy and things like that, and
Yeah.
people can be very critical of that, that
Yeah.
there isn't that sort of organic build. Was it daunting at first, or did you just kind of find that people took to you so...
I think you can tend to perceive that as negative, or you can tend to see it as, right, here's a territory that is actually going to open their arms and give you a chance, as opposed to just, there are different territories I'm aware of where you have to have a mandatory 5 years slogging before you even get a song on the radio. And in Britain, there's a good chance that if you're good, and it doesn't matter how old you are and where you're from and what you look like and what you believe in and et cetera, as long as the music's really, really interesting and good, then you could get the front cover of a magazine.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
kind of
Look that way.
exciting,
Yeah,
no?
there's a sort of a better opportunity rather than having to earn your stripes.
Well, we've done that now, as Joel's wearing a stripy t-shirt.
You've done the
Literally.
toilets. The toilet tours,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was interesting, yeah.
Actually, the first show we ever played was at Tunbridge Wells in a converted public toilet.
How do you remember that name?
I don't know.
It's a great name, though.
I don't
That's
know.
right, it was so cold in there. I remember I was wearing 2 jackets and gloves, and I still couldn't play. It was really hard. to
So
play.
we have played
Indoors,
toilets.
it was that cold.
It was absolutely, because this toilet, this converted public toilet, was like in the middle of a park. It was really interesting.
In the middle of winter.
In the middle of winter, yeah. It was freezing.
Yeah, it was great.
You've changed labels for the second album, for Radio Wars. How's Independiente? How's having a little bit of sort of muscle behind you? Does it feel different?
It feels really different. Yeah, it feels very different. It's the first label we were on, Bella Union, was a brilliant start for us because they're a very nurturing and music-loving bunch of folk, and it was a pleasure to be involved. And now it's really interesting and cool for us to be with somebody who has a lot of push, like you said.
Yeah.
It's just a bigger house, really.
Yeah.
We've moved to a bigger house.
Cool.
Yeah.
Radio Wars is kind of a kicking single. It's kind of the one that really takes you daytime, doesn't it? Do you sort of
Hope
feel
so.
that it's the real crossover single? I'm certainly. I mean, you've always been loved from day one from the
Aw.
alternative DJs,
Thanks.
but you get that sense of suddenly now
Yeah.
the daytime arms are going. This is a bit poppier.
Yeah, I think I think as a band, it's, you know, it's no different to your own development as a person. You get to an age and you become just a little bit more aware of yourself and fully realized. And I think that's what's happened perhaps on this record for the band, is we've just kind of, you know, every step of the way you just become more and more aware and of who you are and where you want to head. I mean, we're still, even now we're talking about the next record, and we feel like, we thought we knew where we were there, but now we really know where we're going. And
it's like every day you're in a different mood or frame of mind. It's crazy how much that reflects onto your music. That's why I guess I don't understand other artists who can make the same album 4 times, because to me that's like they've been feeling the same their whole lives.
Yeah, totally.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like every morning each one of us will wake up in a completely different frame of mind, and
yeah. I mean, there's a pretty huge difference between Low Happening and Digital Hearts, you know,
right.
at the same time, but your voice is just so beautiful.
Thank you.
It's stunning.
Yeah, they're different, but like Joel said, you're you know, if you didn't grow over, I mean, it's been like a few years now since the first record and the second, and you'd like to think that you would have developed somewhat artistically in that time.
So what do you do? Do you, I mean, Joel, like, do you and the other lads, I mean, do you kind of create a soundscape, and do you then write, Juanita, or does it kind of work in reverse, that you write sort of a...
We just sit in a room and eat and send her down to the basement and get her to write everything, and we just claim.
I get whipped. Do your job.
No, it happens differently every time.
Okay.
Seriously, like
every song.
Every song's so different. Like that song Radio Wars came out of an experimental electronic track that if I played you, I mean, I think you just stare at me and think I was joking, but it came out of this strange track. It's bizarre how it happens sometimes.
But this record was ultimately exceptionally different to the first record as well, where it was more of the process of what you were saying, where I would write a lot of songs and then take them to the band and we'd all work on them together. And this one, it was kind of 4 heads contributing at the same time.
Okay. So you're happier and happier.
I don't know if an artist is ever truly happy, are they? You always
So
feel
you're-
like you
you're-
can do more and you can create more.
If you are happy, it lasts 5 minutes, and then the next mood swings in. No, I'm not bipolar. I'm a realist.
He's a musician.
Take the ups and the downs with equal stoicism, isn't that the goal?
It's just the roller coaster of life. Yeah, you know, you are what you are. You know, for that 5 minutes until the next page is turned.
Well, you're going to be at the Hot Press tent today, which has an insane lineup. I don't know if you've seen what's kind of before and after you, but it's a really good spot to be.
Cool.
I'm just looking at it here now. Howling Bells, In Case of Fire, Passion Pit, Hockey, Little Boots, Sneaky Sound System, Patrick Wolf. So I think you're going to have a
Cool.
huge amount of crowd just
Yeah,
kind of
it's exciting.
staying there with their chairs practically
so.
waiting.
Sounds
So
good.
I hope it's legendary for you.
Thank you.
We'll see you there.
Thanks for coming in.
Cheers.